That's not what this is about. This is an award-winning science podcast. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens.
We should start every episode that way from now on.
This is an award-winning science. This is not that kind of podcast. This is a science comedy podcast. An award-winning science comedy podcast. Yeah. That's how we start it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be down for that. Why not? So I did find, one of the things that I've found interesting during all this, Jeff, is, of course, if you go to places like the subreddit, the science subreddit, or any of the big science sites right now, of course, a lot of the science that's being done right now is sort of data-based science that's about how we live and sort of economics and what is the psychological and physiological state of people who have more money, people who have less money. And I'm going to tell you something. I found every week I find a bunch of stories in that vein that are kind of interesting, and every week I toss them to the side because I go, that shit is depressing and we already know it.
Yeah.
But it makes it hard to find the kind of like weird, fun, funny science stories that we're a little more into. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is fine. That means the important work and the work that we care about the most is being done. But damn, I sure do love a weird ass story about science.
Yeah.
I wish there were. Hey, folks, we normally save this for the end of the show, but listen, if you're listening now in the beginning and you're seeing the weird shit, you send us the weird shit.
We want that weird shit. That's what we're here for.
We want the weird shit. You either send it to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com, or you leave it in the Discord if you're one of our wonderful, wonderful concerned citizens who is a patron. Listen, I see that there are still a lot of you hanging out on the Facebook.
What? No.
I'm not gonna yuck your yum, because that's not what we do. But like,
I know what we do.
I guess you're right.
It's a little bit what we do.
So yeah, I'll yuck your yum a little bit. Don't be on that Facebook. Don't be on that Facebook.
It's only destroying the fabric of reality as we know it. But that's, I guess it's fun.
But at the same time, I hate to be and yet you choose to participate in capitalism. But I mean, like, we both own Oculus products and we love them. So
I know I'm a hypocrite.
I get Amazon deliveries a lot.
Yeah,
a lot.
I know. It's a tough tightrope to walk.
It's a terrible, tough tightrope to walk. And I will say, I have found some things. Jeff, I'm going to ask you like I did a couple weeks ago.
Ooh.
One or two?
I'm going to go one.
Okay. I like this one. So, Jeff, when you try to think about the difference, the thing that separates humans from the rest of the apes, from chimpanzees, from whence we came.
Yeah.
What is the big thing that you know or that you were always told is the major difference between us?
I want to say posable thumbs, but the apes got the posable thumbs.
But I did hear that too growing up. I was like, hey, opposable thumbs, that's what separated us. It's a big deal. And then I was like, and then when I got older, I was like, hey, that monkey's doing sign language.
Yeah, it seems pretty posable to me.
You need a thumb for that. Listen, there's a monkey on TikTok that gets Amazon gifts from people and opens them up and plays with them. Yeah. And he definitely is using those thumbs.
He's on Facebook, that monkey. There's no way. He's tied into the global economic complex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, look, that monkey. Yeah. I mean, look, I'm not going to listen. George is a beautiful soul, and I'm not going to yuck George's yum for sure. If you're going to send Amazon products anywhere, send them to George the monkey. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. At least somebody's getting something.
Yeah. Think about George is how curious he is, right? No? Okay.
Well, I think that's where the name came from. Yeah. I think that's where where the guy got it. But
so I guess what really separates us is the ability to think in the abstract, right? To it's self-awareness, right?
So we hear that too. It's something about brain structure, about executive function, about the frontal lobe, all this stuff. What if I told you that maybe the most important thing that separated us from the rest of the apes,
you're gonna say
the thing
pants?
that set us apart and made us, I mean, no, because I've seen a lot of TV shows where monkeys wear pants, and a lot of monkeys wear diapers.
They do wear diapers, or like just a blazer and a bow tie and nothing else.
Sometimes. I'm trying to remember if Lancelot Link's secret chimp had pants or just the trench coat.
I think they all had pants. I think you're right. I'm wrong again. Okay, what is it? What is it that separates us?
Water efficiency.
Water efficient, like the ability to use a jet ski? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, think about it. You've seen them wear pants.
Yeah,
You've seen them open Amazon packages.
I ain't never seen a monkey on a jet ski. Never. Not once.
Never seen them on a ski-doo, have you?
They don't know how to surf.
No,
or ride a
monkey can't surf. Now, monkey, I do remember Lancelot Link on a green screen pretending to surf.
Yeah.
So I think a monkey can conceptualize surfing.
Well, that's why they needed that huge special effects budget, for Lancelot Link, because the monkey can't actually surf. They would have actually just gone to the beach and shot the scene, but, monkey.
But they can't conceptualize that, so the monkey would just refuse to get out of the car.
Not fishing on the water.
No, this is the thing that apparently could have set us apart and set us on the path that gave us, these bigger brains, these better pants, these well-waxed surfboards that monkeys cannot have. And the thing is, we use and replace way less water a day compared to our closest animal relatives.
Really? I would never have guessed that. That seems counterintuitive to me, because I imagine here my only concept of apes, monkeys, gorillas is the zoo, right? Mm-hmm. I don't remember the zoo having,
which is the most natural environment you can observe them in.
There's nothing that is counter to what they expect in the world than being at the zoo.
That's basically, if you see a monkey at the zoo, you're seeing it the way it's supposed to be seen.
That is the way God intended. But I don't remember seeing like copious amounts of liquids available to the monkeys at any time, right? I remember seeing things to play with, stuff to climb on, trees, leaves to eat, nibble on if they so choose. I don't remember seeing large reservoirs of water.
I mean, there's usually a water feature, and then remember that, like, even monkeys and apes in the zoo, they have like the front facing area, and then they have an area they can go to that's like,
the wet bar in the back. They just have a massive amount. The waterfall / swim up bar that they've got in the back.
Yeah, they got a swim up bar. Yeah, and I don't know if you ever noticed this, but now that I point it out, you're not going to be able to unsee it. Have you noticed the monkeys wearing the little bands that they can tap, and it's all inclusive?
Oh, they got that all-inclusive package.
That's what it is you check in, and they give you the band when you check in, and then you just tap at the bar, and it's like at the end you get your bill, and you're like, whoa.
That's some monkey business.
Yeah, there's a private area in the back, like in case the animals are getting freaked out or just need some time alone or time out of the sun. And
which, by the way, every time I've ever been to the zoo, that's where all the animals are. I've never been to the zoo where the animals are out in front like, look at us. It's always they're like, no, I'm going to stay back here in the back where the wet bar is.
Look, my building has a courtyard and a pool. Do you think I'm ever going to go to them?
Fair point. It's a fair point.
I'm going to hide. I'm going to hide right here in my unit.
Yeah.
So no, we apparently use, according to a new study that was just published this week in Current Biology, we use 30 to 50% less water per day than our closest animal relative.
Well, what do they use it for other than drinking? They're only just drinking it, right? They're not bathing. They're not. Right?
Well, I mean, but that's what we're talking about. We're talking about specifically drinking. What our body uses. We're talking about how much water we need to drink and how much water we lose and how much water we retain. 30 to 50%.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're better 30 to 50% at using
more
less
efficient.
So the theory here is that is somehow tied into cognitive performance.
Well, here's why it's tied into everything that happened to us. Imagine you are an animal in the wild and you need to go hunt for food or check out your environment or whatever. Or run away from predators. Even being able to go a little bit longer without water allows you to travel farther, see more, do more, discover more things because you're not as tethered to your environment.
This is why camels rule the world, right?
This is why camels are the dominant species on the planet.
Yes.
This is why we all bow to camel.
The most efficient water-carrying animal rules Earth. That's the hierarchy.
I've only been spit on by one animal in my life, and it was a camel.
Yeah. That's to show its dominance.
And I fucking took it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not like I punished that camel.
You just wanted the moisture.
It's not like I did anything to that camel. That camel received zero repercussions.
Right. Yeah.
So what does that say about the camel's place in the hierarchy?
Pretty high.
Pretty fucking high, my guy. Pretty fucking high. So like when you think about an animal here or any human, animal, living thing, water coming in has to equal water coming out, right?
Yeah.
So we lose water by sweating. We drink more water than we need when we're thirsty. Our kidneys are like too much water, right? And then we pass that fluid. We pee.
Yeah.
So these researchers took 309 people with a range of lifestyles from farmers and hunter-gatherers, which like...
What?
Okay. This is a worldwide study. This is a very worldwide study. And then office workers, just, as wide a range of people throughout civilization currently on Earth as they could. And then of 72 different apes. And
they put them in a room.
And they said, fight it out.
Who gets the water?
Fight it out. Yeah, they put one bottle of water in the center and locked him in there for days. So they calculated, it's really wild. They calculated everybody. This means human and ape. Calculated water intake via food and drink, and then water lost via sweat, urine, and the GI tract. And when they added up all the inputs and outputs, they found that the average person processes about 3 liters, which is 12 cups of water a day. A chimpanzee or gorilla living in a zoo, right? This is that life of luxury you were talking about, the laying around life.
Yeah.
Uses twice as much water. That's a less active gorilla than a gorilla in the wild.
Now, does this track to body size and mass? Because I feel like there are gorillas that are in 300 pounds, 400 pounds, right? Are we talking, average size? Is the median size kind of taken into account here?
Well, I mean, yeah, because they're taking in chimpanzees and stuff too.
Right.
So it's all kind of taken in. And they found that on average, I mean, all of these things, all of these calculations that they make are going to sort of deal with all kinds of things like climate, body size, activity level, calories burned per day. Like one of these measurements is like per square inch of skin, we have 10 times as many sweat glands as a chimpanzee does. And that means that we are able to more efficiently cool ourselves because of the
I ain't never seen a sweaty
coverage.
gorilla. I never seen a sweaty
Never
monkey.
seen a sweaty gorilla. Never. When they sweat, they gotta sweat.
Yeah. Maybe they just stay cool under pressure. Maybe that is. Never let them see a sweat. You know, that's what a monkey says.
That's what Lancelot Link always said, even when he was being tortured by enemy agents.
Listen,
Lancelot. I realize that a lot of people who are listening are not going to know what Lancelot Link is, and
that's on them.
I want you to know it is on you, but it's also a good thing. I think you know, nowadays when you do a movie like say a Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Oh, sure. Okay? Yeah.
You know, you do a Beverly Hills Chihuahua, or even like a Dunstan Checks In. Let's talk about that. You're talking about primarily, you're talking about animatronics. You're talking about CG. You're talking about puppetry. You're talking about people in a human suit or people in a gorilla suit.
You said nowadays, and then you said Dunstan Checks In.
That's not a nowadays, but I'm doing generationally.
1996.
Yeah, 1996. And then the next equivalent thing in my head, so it's Lancelot Link, then it's Dunstan Checks In, and then it's Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Okay.
Those are the generational breaks in my brain.
Let me see what Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Can I get a look it up, Jeff? Look it up.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua as a trilogy.
Yeah, it's 3. When was the last Beverly Hills Chihuahua?
No, this is good. 2008, 2011, and 2012. Wow, they really pumped out those last 2, huh?
I'm telling you, they're quality films.
Did they bulk shoot those like the Lord of the Rings?
Well, the director had a vision.
Yeah, you got to complete the trilogy.
But when you talk about movies like that, it's a lot of CG, right?
Yeah, right.
And it's a lot But Lancelot Link comes from a time when it was like, no, we're going to dress this monkey up like a human and put it in front of a camera and make it dance for like 16-hour production days.
Yeah. Instead of special effects, they spent their money on peanut butter to just put it on their gums. You know,
they spent their money on all of the money that would have gone into computers went into cruelty. They had like a large cruelty budget.
They did have a very large cruelty budget.
Very small visual effects budget.
The line item for cruelty was extraordinary.
But it do be funny though. And I'm glad that like animals doing people things do be funny.
It was my favorite thing in the world when I was a kid. And if you haven't seen Lancelot Link, don't look it up. Because it will only disappoint you. But
I am going to ask you, Jeff.
Yeah.
I am going to ask you, Jeff, because I only know about Lancelot Link, and I'm sure you're the same way. I only know about Lancelot Link because of
Nick at Night.
It was in syndication, on cable.
Nick at Night.
When they were trying,
it was Nickelodeon. Yeah.
When cable was like, when there wasn't enough. Can you imagine a world when there wasn't enough video content?
Oh man, isn't that weird?
To fill a day?
The shit that I would watch, watch because my options were so few. You know, shit that I would watch because I would watch infomercials for hours because it was the only thing on after 11:30 p.m. at night in 1991. Yeah. You know?
So I know about Lancelot Link because of cable and syndication, but I feel like Lancelot Link was from the 60s.
I think it was from the 60s. I think it was
because I want to say my mom remembers Lancelot Link.
Yeah, I'm almost certain it's from the 60s.
Look it up.
Yeah, doing it. Lancelot Link, Secret Chimp. It originally aired on ABC from September 12th, 1970 to January 2nd, 1971.
Wow, that was prestige television. It was primetime prestige television.
So ABC's Friday night block right there. It was the cruelty hour. They called it.
They called it the cruelty hour, and it was Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp, and then like probably a Benji, like a Mr. Ed and a Benji, and and a lassie.
Yeah.
And then Flipper.
Just a cruelty hour. You can tune right in. Anyway, so these the theory here is that literally it's just survivability. Like survivability allowed us to evolve into more complex.
Something changed over the course of human evolution that reduced the amount of water our body uses every day to stay healthy. And if you think about the number of people you know that instead of drinking water, drink like Bang energy drinks and still are alive, that makes a lot of sense. You can only give a chimpanzee Bang energy drink for a couple days before it gets very sick.
Oh yeah, we've done it. We've tried it.
That's part of the study. They actually go into it. No. The study was funded by Bang Energy, by that weird Bang Energy CEO that's all over like YouTube and TikTok. And he just wanted to know if Bang Energy was going to make a monkey more extreme.
They got 72 participants from all over the world and every species of monkey to just slam Bang Energy drinks for fucking hours, man.
Yeah. And whichever animal can slam the most Bang Energy drinks, that's the partiest animal. And that animal deserves to rule over. If a camel could fill both of those humps with sweet Bang Energy drink.
Oh, man. Those would be bang humps.
I don't like that. And I also feel like it was a Black Eyed Peas song. Now, so the thing is, we don't know how this physiological change happened. They call it the biological leash, right? Like we are leashed to our food and water source. And this did not get rid of our biological leash, but it made it longer and it made us able to migrate. It made us able to see more things, to go to more areas than other primates, and perhaps led to us having to make different and more complex life choices that made us this smarter, better creature. The hypothesis says that our body's thirst response was retuned so that overall we crave less water per calorie compared to our ape relatives. So like even as babies, the water to calories ratio of human breast milk is 25% less than the milks of other great apes. So something along the way just made us crave and need less water and feel thirst less acutely than other apes.
Huh.
And so we were able to just go out and live our lives.
I think that's an amazing connection. I'm tempted to be a bit skeptical that that's like the only reason that we are evolved a little more sophisticated than the apes, but I think it probably works in tandem with a bunch of other factors, but it's fascinating. Like, I kind of don't know if that's the cause or the symptom. Right.
Yeah,
you feel like maybe that just might be a symptom, a result of us evolving or progressing or branching off
think
the
this
tree.
I think this study is proposing it as temporally causal, right? Like, so it was the first thing, maybe not the thing, but it was the first thing. And then that maybe helped lead to the other things.
Right.
So not the most important, but if it was the thing that started the chain reaction of all of these different evolutionary triggers, then it is in a way the most important, which I think is what they're putting out there. If it was first, then it was most important in a way. And I think that's kind of neat because the thing that I love about this is it's one of those things that I would not have even begun to think about.
Yeah. Completely. That's what's so fascinating about it is how far down the list you have to get of what differentiated us from the apes to get to this, you know? Mm-hmm. It's a pretty wild idea. And it makes a lot of sense that it would have such a big impact on, ancient life.
It also explains why now in the year of our Lord 2020 part 2, I drink so much less water than I used to. And I feel like I'm constantly forcing myself to drink water.
Well, you're evolving into a superhuman. You drink less water. This is the proof here is that don't drink any water, reach the next level of evolution. I think that's our hypothesis here, our thesis statement.
I wasn't, but now I'm 100% there. I was just going to say I've been moving around less. I've been needing less water, and I haven't been able to figure out why. But it's obviously because I'm about to evolve, baby.
Yeah.
I'll see all you suckers in the next lifetime.
Blue skin and wings, here you come.
Blue skin and wings, baby. Woo. Yo. Yeah, I absolutely love this. I just love things that are like, once they're said to you, these things like these discoveries where once they're said to you, you're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it seems obvious in retrospect. Yeah, but it
takes so much knowledge of it. Like these biologists have so much knowledge of different animals and primates and how they work. And we're just like, shit.
It's like the guy who pitched Lancelot Link's Secret Chimp. You know, it's like, it seems obvious in retrospect. Why wouldn't we dress up a monkey like a secret agent? Why wouldn't we? Of course, that's brilliant. You green light that immediately. But then,
do you remember
nobody thought of it before him.
His arch nemesis was a sexy lady monkey spy named Mata Hari. And it was spelled Haary.
Yeah.
And
they worked for Chump.
And they used to like, yeah, she worked for Chump. And they used to dress her up in like little bikinis and have her like try to seduce Lancelot Link. It was, cruel. No,
do not look this up. You are only going to be disappointed.
It's so funny. Don't look it up. It's so good. Do not look it up. You can also, can I tell you something, Jeff? Much like these biologists and primatologists, you can really, I feel like as a pop culture archaeologist, Jeff, I feel like you can really see the point in network TV where the majority of the country just started believing that marijuana was okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Uh-huh. Like, I feel like 5 years before that, you probably had like Dick Cavett on network television doing cerebral interviews with like Gore Vidal. And then like 5 years later, it was like, what if we put a monkey in human clothes, my guy? And we also ordered more Funyuns.
Yeah. It does track.
Like, you can really see where it happens.
There's a real graph right there.
That's the beauty of science, is reading one study like this allows you to then make those connections in your own life, you know?
Yeah.
And the beauty of us is that we bring it to you. And the beauty of you is that you can give us money to help us do that.
Yes, that is the beauty of you. It's so easy to give us money. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns and sign up to become a patron for as little as $1. As little as $1 a month. What is that? That's nothing. That's nothing. It's barely any water.
Please.
$1 a month gets you access to the Discord. Get you feeling good that you're supporting the show. But guess what? You can give us even more, and you'll get more stuff in return. Really cool stuff like extra content, bonus episodes, hangouts. Go check it out. Check out all the perks that you can get by supporting this show.
Go look at those perks.
Get that
They're
perk.
good perks.
Good
and
perks.
they help us. They help us have sweet perks in our life, like rent and food. So check it out at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
All right, Anthony, we got to talk a little bit about the burning question in the room. And that is cutting our own head off.
Oh, I know which one you're doing, and I nearly did it, and I'm excited. Buddy.
Yeah, this is cool. This is a very cool story.
I would do it in a heartbeat if I could survive it. I would cut off my head all the time. I want to do it right now. But let me ask you.
I'd pay to see it.
Above and beyond leaving the majority of my frail mortal frame behind and just keeping the part of me that I enjoy. What do I get out of this?
Not much, it turns out. This is a story sent to us by Mark No Nickname Nuffer, I think.
Oh, no nickname.
Yep.
He's hanging out in the Discord. He's scoring those big points.
Yeah, he is. You're right there in that Discord. This is a story about some slugs. slugs, some Japanese
slugs, just me and my
slugs.
friends, just some fucking slugs.
Yeah.
Living our lives, gross and slow. You and me, slugs.
Couple of slugs. That's us. There's some Japanese sea slugs. 2 different species of Japanese sea slugs. These are members of Sacoglossa, which is a clade of slugs that is able to actually take.
I was going to say Secret Slug Society.
Secret Slug Society, which is the spin-off of Lancelot Link that didn't catch on Secret Slug Society. It's harder to dress the slugs up in human clothes is what I'm saying, you know?
Whoa. And I know you haven't even reached your premise yet, but whoa. There is an Instagram account that I must find and send to you.
Oh, is this slugs that look like Prince?
No, but send me that one.
Dude, there's one called Slugs That Look Like Prince, and it's fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. Yes, of course I love that. But it's like a picture of Prince and a picture of a slug, and they look like they're dressed the same. It's amazing.
I love that. No, this is a photographer that does nothing except set up ornate dioramas and that are snail and slug sized, and then place slugs into those dioramas and take photos of them, and like beautiful photos and beautiful videos of these tiny like 80s and 90s retro vaporwave, like super realistic environments. And then there's just a snail there. And it's the size of like if it's a snail laundromat, you better believe it's doing its snail clothes. It's so fucking good. I'll try to find the link and send it to you. It's so fucking good. But go on. Tell me.
That look like Prince. All right. So these are 2 classes of slugs that actually do something extraordinary already, which is they steal chloroplasts from algae and put them in their own cells so that they can perform photosynthesis. They steal the ability to do photosynthesis from external plants, algae in their environment.
That's so weird.
It's cool. And they get the energy from the sunlight. They incorporate it into their own cells and they get energy from the sunlight.
By incorporating it into their own cells, this is through eating and digestion, or this is some sort of like subdermal thing where they're just like rubbing their sluggy butts up against it.
You know, because this article isn't about this aspect of them, it doesn't go into exactly how they do that. It just says
I'd like to think it's just the rubbing the sluggy butts.
I think maybe it's just rubbing sluggy butts.
I think it's just through the eating, but I'd like to think it's just through rubbing their sluggy butts.
Well, here's the fascinating things about these slugs. It turns out
that's not the fascinating thing.
This isn't even the fascinating thing.
The fact that they're photosynthetic is not the fascinating thing.
Yeah, that they can become photosynthetic external. It's crazy. But so they were being studied at the Nara Women's University in Japan in a lab that takes cultures from sea slugs and eggs from sea slugs and grows them to adulthood to study them to see how they do all this stuff. Well, one day, Sayaka Mito, who is a biologist at that university, walks into a room where she's got a couple of these sea slugs, and she sees one of them without its head. She sees the body of the slug and the head a few inches away.
They're slugs that are capable of premeditated murder. They're the only slug species.
She sees a message scrawled in a strange script that can't be deciphered. It's just ones and zeros. It's the strangest thing. No, what actually she found was this decapitated slug all alone in its environment. And she's like, "Oh, what happened to the slug? Oh, right. But she doesn't do anything. She just kind of hangs out and watches it for days. And over the course
that's a weird thing to do.
Well, she didn't know how the slug's head came off, right?
No,
she doesn't know how the slug's alone in its little container, and all of a sudden its head came off. That's weird.
But like here, it is weird. But here's what I think is super. Here's what's fascinating about this story to begin with: is there's a slug with its head cut off. This is a slug. This is a dead slug. Its head is cut off. And you and I would look at it and be like, oh, dead slug. And we would throw it out and use that container for another slug, start the slug experiment over again. Yeah. Something in this slug scientist mind tells her, hey, let that body lie there for a few days.
Yeah, well,
why?
I mean,
Why?
I think it's pretty obvious, dude. It's because she didn't know how the head got cut off. She wants to see.
Yeah, but what is she gonna do? What was she waiting for? Fucking Slug CSI to show up?
Maybe
she wasn't actively doing anything. It wasn't like she went in there. She was just watching. Why was she watching? How did she even think to watch for something?
I think she thought it might be autotomy. Autotomy. Autotomy is like when you cut off your own limb. Like some lizards will like shed their tail when a predator grabs their tail. They'll just like shed their own tail and escape. It's autotomy.
Sure, because you can live without tail. Can't live without head.
Well, it's not living without head. It turns out that the head was still alive. She actually watched it move. The head kept moving. And so she's like, well, we got to watch this shit. So the body...
Okay, you buried the lead a little bit, Jeff.
The head kept moving. I should have said the head kept moving. I really should have said the head kept moving.
Jeff.
Yeah.
I'm thinking a dead slug head and a dead slug body are laying perfectly still and dead in a cage, and this is some sort of slug resurrection that we're on our way to. And instead, you're telling me head was always alive. You buried the lead.
Head was always alive, Anthony. Sorry, I left that part out. Head kept moving. She saw head move.
Oh. Now my entire line of questioning changes, Jeff. How head keep moving? Need body to survive.
She had the same question. How head keep moving? She started watching it, and it turned out over the course of about 3 weeks, it grew back its body.
Entire body
grows back. Okay. Now here's the weird thing about how these slugs work.
We still haven't gotten there.
Well, I was going to say there's a lot of really fucking important shit that's in the body. There's a lot of important shit in that body. For example,
Jeff, tell me the important thing about how these photosynthetic slugs that can live without a body. Tell me the important thing about them. Go on.
Their heart, they have a heart, and their heart is in their body, and their head. So they cut their own heads off.
Yeah.
And survive for weeks without a heart.
That's what I'm saying, Jeff. How? I know where the heart goes.
Well, that's what they intended to find out.
This is an award-winning science podcast, Jeffrey. I know that the heart don't go in face, it go in body.
Well, it's a slug. I thought maybe there might be some confusion.
No, cut off body. Body, only head, Jeff.
Well, here's the thing.
How come you explain that to me, not tell me head still moving?
That's true. It's a good point. Bad priority list on the essential information. So they decide to start studying these slugs. They're like, how does this slug live? How does this slug grow back an entire body? We've seen animals like lizards grow back appendages. We've never seen an animal live as a head and then grow back its entire body until now.
Yeah.
So they start trying to recreate this behavior, trying to figure out why this thing cut off its own head. And what they start doing is going, okay, well, here are some theories. Maybe
did they body shame it? Were they body shaming the slug? Because that's not cool. Even for science, it's not cool to body shame.
Other skinnier slugs in bikinis in a series of magazine ads, in
a series of television shows from ABC from the 1970s. Just hot slugs as cops, as firefighters.
Yeah. Slugs of hazard, they called it. Anyway,
fast driving slugs.
No, they thought, well, maybe it's kind of like how we've observed lizards and other animals that can do this, where they get attacked and to escape, they'll sever their own limbs and grow them back. So what they did was they fucking took some slugs and like snipped part of their body, like cut into their like maybe a predator had nipped at them. Right. Okay. Turns out that didn't trigger it. That did not work.
Okay.
So then what they did is they put some bacteria, like infected it with some bacteria, and that triggered it in a number of the slugs. So it turns out that when they are these particular slugs eat in areas and live in areas where they can be infected with all kinds of kind of corrosive bacteria. And when they artificially did that, the thing was like, well, I fucking need a new body now. This body doesn't work. I'm going to grow a new one.
Oh, I don't feel so good. This body sucks. New body that feels better.
Yeah.
That fucking
and get owns. This, dude. Their head comes off over a series of hours. They are ripping their own head from their body over the course of hours.
That's got to be the unpleasant way to do it. You got to rip off your head like you would rip off a Band-Aid.
Exactly. You got to go quick, man. Quick. Come on.
Yeah. It's like all those YouTube videos that tell you take a cold shower in the morning. Like you got to wake up. You know what I mean? It's unpleasant, but you got to just do it all at once.
Just jump in the pool. You know what I'm saying?
It's like Mark Twain said, if the first thing you got to do at your job in the morning is tear off your own head, then that's what you do, and you eat a frog.
That's what you do.
So over the course of hours,
it rips its own head off.
How does it begin the ripping of its own head off? What is that process?
They do not go into that. So they tried to induce this in a number of ways. The snipping part, they tried to like tie a little string around the point at which they saw they tried to create
like a scary stories to tell in the dark with a slug situation.
Yes. It's like your mom always said, if you put a string around your finger too tight, your finger's going to fall off. You know, it's like that, but for slugs.
So one slug is married to another slug its entire life, and it says to the slug, you always have such a beautiful ribbon around your neck.
Yes.
And why do you never take the ribbon off? And she says, you must never remove the ribbon. And then on her deathbed, he's crying, and she says, now you may remove the ribbon from my neck, and her head falls off.
Yeah.
That's what's like. And that slug's name was Jenny. Was that the name of the story? Jenny, I think. Scary stories to tell in the dark, everybody.
Well, it turns out that didn't induce it either. It's only this parasite, this like bacteria that they put on, this a planktonic parasite that it made it say, I need to shed my body. I can't live with these parasites on me.
I think it's fascinating that they don't go into why or how the slug tears its own head off.
Like, I know. I read 3 different articles about this, and none of them explained the process. All of it said it took hours.
I mean, because it sounds like you're putting this slug into a Saw situation. You know, like
yes.
You have this slug trapped in this little. I imagine it's in one of those like just little clear plastic containers, like they keep slugs in from the and they're doing things like cutting it and like choking it and like infecting it. And it's like, listen, slug, the key is in your own stomach. Like I had you swallow the key.
Yeah.
Like all you got to do is tear your head off. And like, I guess I would have to imagine that it's a lot like, going back to lizards shedding their skin. Like I have to wonder if it rubs itself up against a rough surface or something like that. But gosh, they would have to experience pain in a way that we don't experience pain to be able to do that, you know?
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
That's fascinating to me. And I'm shocked that they don't go into how the slug does it.
I am too. The thing that they focus on in all of these articles is the big question from the researchers, which is how does it survive as a head for weeks? It's not.
That's a big question too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the question, right? Like,
the question, right? Because at first they thought, okay, well, this thing borrows the ability to photosynthesize from algae. Maybe it just lives on photosynthesis. And then they went, well, no, because all of the photosynthesis happens in the body. They need the surface area of their entire body to process the sunlight and turn it into energy.
Right. There's stuff that's in the body that isn't in the head.
the heart and vital organs. Yes.
Yeah.
So, they said that the chloroplasts are stored in the slug's digestive gland, which is highly branched and mainly located in the body of these species. So when it autotomizes its body, it throws away the chloroplasts and most of the energy it gets from doing photosynthesis, which just seems wildly impractical. So
what is it?
They think that it only survives and gets energy by starting to eat. Literally like starting to eat external things and holding it in its head and using that energy to grow back a body.
It digests through its head?
Yeah.
I mean, this definitely gives more credence to my slug butt rubbing theory.
Yes. It says it is more likely that the slug fuels regeneration by feeding directly after it autotomizes its body. So it's like, man, I just cut my own head off, famished. But like, where does the food go?
So it must have some sort of digestive system based on the fact that it can get energy through photosynthesis, and it can get energy from eating without a body. It must have some distributive digestive system that goes throughout its entire body, including its head. That is wild.
Yeah. This Professor Mito says that she suspects that there must be stem-like cells that are on the end of the neck, the connection point.
Right.
Then these stem cells or not stem cells, but they work similarly to how we've observed stem cells working, can just sort of start rebuilding the structure of the entire body. They said
what if the body starts regrowing a head too, and then you get into a Ship of Theseus situation?
No, yeah. All of the articles I read specifically pointed out that the body did not regrow a head. The head only regrew the body.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. They said one of the one of the slugs that they did this to even lost and regrew its body twice. It did it twice.
Yeah, of course. If you can do it once, you can do it again. That's what I say about anything.
I guess. Yeah. So they have no idea how these things survive for nearly a month without a heart. But I have so many. I had an ex-girlfriend that did that for years.
Hey, I have so many questions though about. Now my next question comes to lifespan, right? If this slug is regrowing an entirely new body, is this a youthful slug body? And then what does that do in terms of like its aging? Man, there's so much I want to know now. And I would imagine this is just the first in what will be a long line of discoveries about this slug. Yeah,
they're just starting. I mean, this is very recent. Published study. The other thing that's really weird is, like I said, I read a number of articles about this, and it's clear that not all of the slugs that they induced this autotomy to actually achieved regrowth. Right? It was only a portion of them that did it, but the articles kind of contradict each other. So in one article on USA Today, it says that
bastion of science, journalism, and reporting.
They said they cut the heads off.
I have always said that all of the best science journalism gets delivered to your room at the Holiday Inn every morning. Okay? Right. All science news can be distilled down into 2 paragraphs and a cool bar graph or a pie chart. And that's it. And it comes with a cup of coffee and a coupon for the Dunkin' Donuts across the street because the continental breakfast is no longer being offered.
Well, the USA Today article says that they cut the head off of 16 sea slugs. Yeah. And they said 6 of the 16 started regeneration and 3 succeeded and survived. One of the 3 lost and regrew its body twice. Okay.
So there's a cost to this. It's not necessarily going to be successful every time.
Right. Well, and then sciencemag.org says,
okay, I like that a little better. Says
3 of 82 that autotomized grew new bodies. 3 of 82. All of these animals were infected with the parasite. And then in another group of 64 without parasites, none of them self-decapitated. So it was only the ones that they infected that even attempted it, or 82 of them, but then only 3 successfully grew new bodies. So it seems like a very contradictory statistics here. But I think the takeaway is what you said, which is it's costly and it's not always successful. So like these things are cutting their own heads off without even knowing whether or not they're going to live. So it seems like a very drastic measure that is only attempted when they feel like, oh my God, my body is useless to me.
So, but then I wonder if in addition to that, it doesn't work if the infection spreads too far, right? Because then I wonder, like perhaps the heads got sick. I think it's probably a tough thing for them to do, but my gut tells me it's also like, hey, if it's too sick before it starts, that's going to make it unsuccessful. If it spreads too far in the body, that will probably make it unsuccessful. Hey man, let's say you just had a throat surgery. You had an issue with your throat. Let's say you could either have a throat surgery or we as human beings had this ability.
Oh man.
And it was 50. Let's go with USA Today numbers because we trust them. They're a science outlet. Let's go with USA Today numbers, and it's 50% successful, but
Eesh.
you get like a 22-year-old body.
Oh man, that's tempting. A flip of the coin. Heads you die, or heads you're only a head, and tails you get a new tail. That's a tough gamble.
I think what would stop me would be the slowly cutting off my own head.
The hours-long process it would take.
The hours-long process. That's such a messy... Because you picture it on a human scale, you'd have to at least lay in the bathtub.
Oh, yeah. You would want to light a candle.
You'd have to put a tarp down or something. Yeah.
You light a candle, put on your favorite album, something
nice
and
Pure
slow.
Moods, some Enya.
Yeah, get a little...
Imagine decapitating yourself to sail away, or only time.
Come sail away. You know what would be rad is
not that come sail away, but that would be good too. But the Styx come sail away would be good too. I was thinking Orinoco Flow.
No,
you light a candle, you listen to Orinoco Flow. Styx is pretty dope. Styx might power me through my own self-decapitation. I don't know.
You know what I like most about this process though is that you get the excuse to just eat like a fiend after.
Well, but see, here's the thing, Jeff.
You just get to binge.
Married man, right?
Yeah.
Married man with kids. Here's how our situations differ. I would have to hire like a TaskRabbit to make sure there was enough food near my head.
Right.
You know what I mean? Somebody would come in once a day.
Really close to your head. Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody would come in once a day, deliver me food, make sure I could eat enough.
Yeah.
To give me the energy
that
to
would be
regrow
the
this
worst
body.
is you cut off your own head and your food is too far away from your face. Oh,
that's a Twilight Zone episode.
That is.
That's a Burgess Meredith Twilight Zone situation. But then you have to think about. You have to think about
your tongue out. It's so close. I can almost reach it. French fly.
You develop a very strong tongue, I think, because you'd have to use it for locomotion.
That's all you got at that point, right? Is the tongue?
That's all you got. And maybe by the time you grow some shoulders, you could maybe do like a shimmy, like a shoulder shimmy.
Are you imagining? Okay, this is very important. I need to understand.
This is very important. Yeah.
Are you imagining that the growth happens sort of sequentially down from the neck? Or do you think that the growth happens where you get like a tiny full body and the full body just grows bigger and bigger?
Oh no. See, that's a third that I never even thought of, because I thought you were going to ask me, is it the end of the Fifth Element situation where you're being rebuilt by slices? Right. Sorry. The beginning of the Fifth Element, right? Where you're being rebuilt slice by slice. You're slowly growing downwards in a complete sort of thing. I'm thinking, having had a pet lizard, I'm thinking about like they do grow sort of down and they grow the entire structure bit by bit. And the reason for that is because it's closed off to the elements that way, so you don't get a new infection.
Right.
I was thinking the other way that you would grow would be like, first it becomes like a spinal cord and like a Dr. Manhattan situation.
Yeah,
where then it's like a
from the
vascular
inside
system.
out. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I assumed it would sprout like
a tiny body?
Yeah, like a tiny little baby body, like an embryo body from the neck, and then a baby body, and then it grows to a toddler body, and it, it just gets back to full body.
Like those weird old Nickelodeon commercials where that grown man had his head on a tiny puppet body.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, but oh gosh, that I think is a good mix of number one, and I think that's a good mix because then you do have a complete body. It is closed off to the elements. And by the time it gets big enough to support your head, you can move around. And then like it will eventually grow back to adult size. So it becomes more and more useful over time, but you are able to locomote and get things done. You just, you need step stools and stuff.
Right. Your version, you're out of commission for the entire process, right? You got to wait until everything reconstructs. My version, you're taking a month off. Really weak.
You're taking like a month off work to do this.
At least.
Well, and that's why I was going to say like, and then your situation, like you have a significant other who could bring you food and help you out, but you also have 2 kids. And so by doing this, you're like, hey, honey, like I'm doing this because when it's done, I'll have the body of a 22-year-old, and I'll be able to do a lot more around the house, and I won't have, I won't have as much medical stuff and like blah, blah, blah. But she then essentially has 2 children and a new baby to take care of.
Yeah, which, let's be honest, is not far off from how it is now.
It's not far off, but it is off enough where it adds to her work precipitously.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there would have to be a trade-off where like, I would picture in a committed relationship, if humans were able to do this, you would have to trade off where once a year, one of you gets to do it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. 6 months apart, I get to cut off my own head and regrow it back, and you take care of the kids, and then you get to do it. And then we both get to go to Hawaii with the kids, as 22-year-olds.
I don't believe in an American capitalist situation like we're in right now. I don't think any job would give you the time off for body regrowth.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, we need to pass some legislation.
That we would definitely have to do that. I think the Democrats would say they were going to do it, and they would take plenty of time off to regrow their bodies.
Right. Yeah.
Of course they would. But then when it came down to the vote, they'd chicken out.
They'd vote against autonomy leave, which is not cool.
And they would say like their number one issue is the autonomy leave. Other countries get the autonomy leave. You see pictures. You see pictures of Europe and Japan and Korea, and you look at them. And they all have the bodies of 22-year-olds all the time.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Why do you think they all have 22-year-old bodies? Why do you think when you go, you'll see signs on restaurants closed for growing my body back? They just close down.
I think you get government leave for that.
Yeah.
Because they understand it's what's best for people.
What's best.
If I could afford it, I would hire the TaskRabbit and I would do it.
Yeah.
I don't know how often I would do it. I think it would be a once every 10 or 15 years thing.
You know what you could do? You could just get a series of those like, hamster feeder things with the little tube that hangs down, and you just go.
Yes. Yeah.
On it.
You could get a large cooler.
Yeah,
and you could sort of fill it with like a mix of Soylent and water, like a 50-50 Soylent water mix.
Yeah, you just preset yourself up for a month of R&R,
Yeah. You'd have to make sure Siri gets set up, turn off automatic updates, put the TV within reach.
Oh man, just working the remote with my tongue would be an issue.
That would be the only way I would accept voice commands. There are so many things in my house that want me to use voice commands, and I don't do it. But I would do it if I was doing the body regrowth. I think it's the only way.
Technologically speaking, we've never been better suited to cut off our own heads.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. I think that's the point. This is cool, and this is another one of those things where I hope we figure out why, and I hope we start studying genetically why, and I hope one day this is something that we can seriously apply to medical situations.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That is something that I would love to see.
Yeah, I mean, the final quote on this Gizmodo article is, "You never know when an animal as innocuous as a sea slug has an ability that could lead to advancements in applied research." I mean, that's
my Tinder profile.
There you go.
That's what it says. I may not look like much. Would you cut off your own head? Let us know. Let us know. Do you want to cut off your own head right now? I'm 50-50. I don't even think I can grow a body. You can let us know, on the Twitter. I'm at @Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
Or we can talk about it on the Discord in the episode discussion room or the Cool Science News room. Great rooms, great Discord, great people. All the people you interact with. I think they've nearly convinced me to set up a Valheim server. I've never even played Valheim, but they've convinced me to maybe do it.
Maybe
that's what'll get me on there. Maybe we should set up some Valheim. Anyway, let us know about all these things: decapitation, autotomy, Valheim on the Discord server. And if you're not on the Discord server yet, remember that just for $1 a month or more over at the patreon.com/wehaveconcerns, you can join that server and hang out with other concerned citizens. We'll see you next week.
See you then.